Hey squads, Brandon from the Bantu Sun. I wanted to hop on again real quick because there's just so much going on in the world right now. Things are fast paced, and just express my thoughts on a couple things that's going on right now. So obviously, glued to media sources right now, trying to filter through all the information, understand what's really going on, how things are progressing in Russia right now, and I don't think this is out of the blue. I think this was something that was building up. This is what my assessment was initially when I saw the behavior, the communication that was going on with between Wagner and, or more specifically, Prigozhin and the leadership of Russian military, and now seeing events unfold, and the confidence that you pretty much have this battle-hardened military group. I think it's reported that Wagner is operating in as many as 30 countries. So these guys are professional. They know how to play ball. And the fact that they haven't been able to get snuffed out already, as we go on to the 24-hour time mark, shows how powerful they are. And it's really going to be interesting watching these things unfold. The other aspects I like to look at, I would like to also talk about what's going on with the outlying players. So, especially on the Russian side, I haven't heard much about Turkey. I'm following what's going on there, especially with President Erdogan recently winning his election, but he's starting to look in frail health. All the best to him, but he's really starting to look a little frail. So I wonder what his energy is like, as well as what is going to be his response, because we have a very interesting situation. Erdogan, I believe the trip that I like to keep tracks of foreign leaders' trips to see where they're going, especially the higher up, the more telling it is. So President Erdogan, his number one foreign trip is usually to see Putin in Russia for one reason or another. So they have a very tight relationship. Even though Erdogan is a NATO member, he's been able to walk this tightrope. So not hearing from him, I wonder what Iran is thinking about right now. Iran and Russia, of course, you have the South Caucasus in between those states, Azerbaijan, Armenia, and Georgia. But pretty much these two countries bifurcate Eurasia, with Europe to the west of those two countries, more or less, and Asia to the east of those two countries, with the exception of the Middle East, which we mostly consider Asia. But these two countries kind of bifurcate that continental landmass, and Iran has had drone parts found in Ukraine that people believe they've been supplementing Russian military hardware with Iranian drones. Another player is the UN Security Council, right? You already got the three allies of the UK, France, and the US, but where's China thoughts on what's going on right now? How are they seeing things unfold? I haven't heard any comment from them. President Putin eventually came out. He expressed that this was, as far as he's concerned, a mutiny and treasonous behavior. So obviously, that's going to create a standoff between him and Prigozhin. But now I like to see what the leadership out of Beijing is going to say, and how China is seeing events unfold. Because it's real complicated, because on one end, you wonder if Russia's going to appeal for some type of supplemental military aid or not, because why haven't the Russian military responded yet at this point? And the last thing I want to think about is all of, so you got the central players, right? Prigozhin and Putin, or Russia in particular. Then you have like the outlying players, especially the Russian allies. We already know what the West wants to do. Ukraine's trying to win. I'm looking for them to try to take advantage of this chaos. So I'm assuming they're going to do a major push towards victory at this point, while Russia is pretty much willing and in disarray. But you got the outlying players that are aligned with Russia, or we'll say not against Russia. And lastly, we have the nations that are completely oblivious or outside of this entire situation. What's going on in the world? Are other countries going to make moves at this time, or is this going to allow, because all the eyes are on this situation, is it going to allow for other players in other parts of the world to start trying to make pushes? Top of my mind, of course, is what's going on in Sudan. I'm definitely going to put something together on that one. I'm highly concerned, especially now because of what's going on in Darfur. And I do not see how this isn't almost a form of ethnic cleansing at this point, which goes back to the original genocide of Darfur. And we also had a video where I posted about dismantling a nation. If you get a chance to check that out, check that out. But these the RSF, the Rapid Support Forces. Don't forget these guys started off in Darfur. That was their base. I really don't see how they have a home in Khartoum, which is the heart of the country, more established, um, more power centric. These guys are on the fringes. So I never really understood how they can make a power play for the center of the country. But what all this chaos is allowing for is a lot of misdeeds and unfortunate happenings. Because what's been one culmination of war? This back and forth in the capital, but this complete refugee engine coming out of Western Sudan in Darfur as millions and millions of people are fleeing their homes and escape the neighboring countries of Central African Republic and Chad. So that's another one. And just looking at the other major players, so okay, how does things play out in East Asia? How does it seems as though the West is taking to approach, offense in Europe, defense in the Western Pacific realm, that Southeast Asia, East Asia region, as America is solidifying its alliances. But so I'm just from a geopolitical point of view, seeing what's happening in the world, how this might have intended or unintended consequences, and what major players are going to try to take advantage of it. So I don't want to get too blindsided, get too caught up and just seeing what's going on the screen, but how things affect the broader picture and how this may hinder or help some major players. So I'm still on the lookout. So I just wanted to hop on, express those thoughts. Let me know what you guys are thinking right now, as well as we watching things unfold in Russia and some of the knock-on effects that you think might occur, or some things that you think are concerning that are falling into the gaps. So once again, thanks for your time. Truly appreciate you. Feel free to comment below, like, share, subscribe if you appreciate the content. I'm always going to try to stay ahead of the story, always going to try to get some insight, and I'm always going to try to make sure we can get some information that we can roll up in a way that give us actionable intelligence to behave better and make more better, calculated, and more impactful decisions. So until next time, take care. Bantu up.